Next question comes from Cody on YouTube. You turn your rake on during the sparge. Wouldn't that disrupt the grain bed and make your wort look yucky? This question came from the Hoppy Pills video. That series is kind of like on rolling out right now. We're rolling it out. First, it was in the can. Now it is rolling out. I'm an industry professional, okay? Not just on the brewing side, but in the realm of film. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, what I'm doing is film. I didn't even like watching myself say that. I'm trying to remember if I did cut that bed in that video. That's what I would be doing. Typically, I do not run my rake during the sparge. The sparge is when I am spraying and or showering hot liquor tank water onto the surface of my grain bed in order to further rinse flavor, color, and sugar out of the grain bed. And typically the only time I use my rakes in the mash tun is when I am mashing in and when I am graining out. However, I don't remember if I cut that bed and when I use that terminology, cutting the bed, I don't know if I turned my rakes at all as I was lautering or sparging that beer. I may have, and when I do that, it is because looking at the pressure on my how much draw that I have a sight glass on the side of my mash tun. Sometimes I get into a situation where there's something different about how the beer is running off, and I feel like maybe it's like it's drawing too hard. Like I have like that sight glass on the side is drawing lower than I expect it to. For how I'm operating the brew house. And when I feel like I'm drawing extra pressure and I shouldn't be, or drawing too hard, when I'm not actually based on the mechanical settings of the equipment, I will sometimes run a really slow cut on my mash bed. And what I mean by this is some people have rakes that you can raise and lower. Mine are static. They're in one spot and I can't move them up and down. So sometimes people will cut their grain bed from the top and slowly work that down to make sure that they're getting that sparge water equally through everything, right? The risk, though, as Cody mentioned, is you don't want yucky wort, baby. You don't want cloudy stuff going over the kettle. You don't want grain particulate, husk, endosperm, any of that stuff shooting on over to the kettle. You heard? So if you want to be moving a nice clear wort, yeah, that is a concern. So for me, the only time I cut that bed is when I feel like maybe it's drawing a little too hard, and there might be some utility for me cutting some lines in that mash and potentially getting a more universal flow of sparge liquid, sparge water going through the entirety of that grain bed. All right. So I will do that. I also do it. I turn that rake so slow, you almost wouldn't know it was turning. And sometimes I only turn it a half turn or a full turn. I'm not like ripping it around. There are some brew houses that are outfitted to run really, really ideally like that. Mine is not. Some brew houses, you can spin that, you can turn that rake the whole time and you'll get beautiful clear wort. I don't have a filter in between my mash tun and my kettle because I know sometimes they have those that can help with the grain particulate. I don't have that. But yeah, so that's why I do that and that's how I do that. And it is something rare that I do. And I want to do it very slowly and only for as much time to cut the totality of the bed. Because if I keep turning it with my system, I'm going to get tons of grain particulate over into the kettle. So great question. Thank you very much, Cody. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're going to maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.